Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to the first edition of a brand new review series where I am going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and today I am going to be talking about the Season 2 premiere, Episode 1, The Northern Star, which I have just finished watching, and we are, no pun intended, straight out of the gates of Hell's Kitchen as the season 2 premiere delivered a brutal classic which really helped set the tone for what we are most likely going to be seeing in Daredevil Born Again season 2. So, for those of you who probably didn't see what happened at the end of season 1, so what I'm going to be doing is just give you a little quick recap of what's happened, and then we'll get straight into talking about the season 2 premiere. So, what happened at the end of season 1 was Wilson Fisk, using his political power as the mayor of the city, has assembled his own anti vigilante task force to take down all known masked street level heroes. And we also saw at the end of season 1, Daredevil has set up his own team to help take down Wilson Fisk. So, what we are getting, which is obviously setting the tone for season 2, is we are going to be getting what appears to be an all out war between Wilson Fisk's team and Daredevil's team. Now, Daredevil's team is comprised of himself, Cherry, Angie Kim, and several NYPD officers who want to stand and oppose Wilson Fisk. And we saw at the very end of the season 1 finale, Daredevil declared that while the city was broken and corrupt, together they can reclaim it from Fisk, as they are the city without fear. So that pretty much helped set the stage for season 2. So, with that all said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the season 2 premiere, episode 1, The Northern Star. So, 6 months after the launch of the Safer Streets initiative, we see Daredevil attacks the Cypriot container ship called the Northern Star, which is smuggling weapons to Red Hook Port. And we see Daredevil debuting a brand new suit, all clad in black, fighting off the crew, as we see Captain Achilleo Kirikoro follows the orders he was given, and he deliberately sinks the ship before evacuating with Christophe Xavier. And we see Daredevil has survived and returns to Josie's bar, where he regroups with Karen Page and tells her about the military grade arms Kingpin has been smuggling. So it looks like now Daredevil and Karen Page are not only more than friends, but now they are actually working together as allies to take down the Kingpin once and for all. Now, hopefully, they're going to address this at some point about how exactly Matt Murdock and Karen Page hooked up, because last time I checked, Matt Murdock was with someone else. So hopefully they will address that at some point. But it's great to see Matt Murdock and Karen Page together because, you know, it just makes sense. Matt Murdock and Karen Page just are a perfect fit. As the ship has sank outside of Red Hook, we see Karen and Matt are on a mission in making sure that the truth about Kingpin's crimes come out, while Paige is looking for proof that would link it to him. We then see Fisk arrives to oversee the aftermath of the Northern Star incident, and Sheila Rivera reports to Fisk that the ship is blocking the entrance to Red Hook, so nothing can land until the wreckage is cleared. Fisk deems it a terrorist attack perpetrated by Daredevil and orders Powell to organize salvage efforts while intensifying the manhunt for Daredevil and Karen Page. Buck Cashman informs Fisk that Kiriako and Xavier were privy to the nature of the shipment, and Fisk orders to have them found immediately. When news of the Northern Star incident reaches Washington, we see Mr. Charles goes to New York City to handle it personally. With the anti vigilante task force on their trail, Page expresses frustration that their efforts to disrupt Kingpin's dealings do not amount to results. Murdoch says that they have to keep going and have to work hard to expose him, as he believes that once the truth is revealed, he has to be held accountable. Page receives a lead from Jessica Jones, and although they still do not know the purpose of the weapons, she managed to find the names of the captain and the first mate. So we see Murdoch goes off to find them. At the New York City Hall, Fisk is visited by Attorney General Steve Rudd and Lieutenant Governor Yorn Gomez, who expresses their disapproval of Fisk's conduct in regards to the Safer Streets initiative. Fisk dismisses their accusations and assures them that the culprit in the Northern Star attack will be brought to justice. But Steve Rudd informs Fisk that his office will be scrutinizing his vigilante trials, whether he likes it or not. Mr. Charles suddenly walks into the office, introducing himself as a CIA representative, and after a call from Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, Steve Rudd's tone becomes more conciliatory as he pledges his support for Fisk's initiative. Heather Glenn conducts a psychological evaluation of Jack Duquesne as he faces trial for vigilantism. Despite Duquesne's requesting a lawyer, Duquesne scoffs at Glenn's claim of being an impartial observer and denies all accusations of being a vigilante and refusing to cooperate. Glenn, still traumatized after her attack by Muse, reminds Duquesne that he is detained under the Safer Streets Act, meaning the AVTF and Fisk's office have full authority over him and his trials, as she reminds him that depending on his behavior, he might never get to his trial. Duquesne reluctantly agrees to answer Glenn's questions. And we also see in Murdoch's absence, Murdoch and McDuffie provides legal support to the people targeted by Fisk and the AVTF, as Kristen McDuffie has Cherry some cases to look into. Cherry points out that the people targeted by the AVTF tend to disappear, but does not discourage McDuffie, and she asks Cherry to find them. McDuffie is also concerned about Matt, who is still missing, but Cherry assures her that he will be fine, although he does not tell her where he is. We then see Benjamin Hochberg visits McDuffie to urge her to quit, as the vigilante trials will not be conducted by the book, but she steadfastly refuses to do so. Cherry meets with Murdoch to discuss the Northern Star, as they wonder who Kingpin might be in league with to need all that weaponry. Murdoch is determined to expose Kingpin's operations, although Cherry says that they are swinging too hard and Kingpin will only get more dangerous. Regardless, Cherry agrees to help and look into the ship's crew and tells Murdoch that McDuffie is worried, asking him to reach out to her. Murdoch refuses as he is afraid to put her at risk by associating with him, before asking Cherry to look for Kyrillako and Xavier, as they are co-conspirators in Fisk's gun-running operations. We then see Powell and the AVTF arrive at the restaurant, Agegan Gardens, and confronts its owner, Ariana, demanding her to provide information on Karikeo and Saveir's whereabouts. Ariana refuses to cooperate, calling Pao and his men fascists, after which Pao strikes her. Kariko, who was present at the restaurant, tries to make a run for it, but Pao catches him and brutalizes him before the AVTF takes him into custody. We then see BB Urich comes to the party at Blake's new place as he brags about the luxury he gets as the deputy mayor for communications. Urich tries to warn Blake to be careful about his involvement in Fisk's games, as if it comes crashing down, Fisk will not be the one getting hurt. Blake appreciates her concern, but does not take it too seriously before praising the BB report segments that support Fisk's new policies. At the restaurant, Ariana is approached by Murdoch, who is aware of her secret work to help people get out of New York. Upon realizing who she is talking to, Ariana tells Murdoch that she intended to send Karilako out of the country, but the AVTF got to him. When Murdoch asks about Saver, Ariana says that if the AVTF is after him, even Murdoch will not be able to save him, but Matt is still determined to do so. Karalako is taken to Fisk's underground site where Powell tries to torture Save's whereabouts out of him, but Karalako does not know this. Cashman comes to take over the interrogation, chiding Powell for his brutal methods, and talks to Karalako himself after Cashman leaves. He pleads for mercy, claiming that he sank the ship as he was ordered to, and Cashman empathizes with him before executing him with a shot to the head. Mr. Charles meets with Fisk and his wife Vanessa at Gracie Mansion, although the Fisks do not appreciate his abrasive behavior in their presence. But Mr. Charles says that while his employers appreciate Fisk's cooperation, the Northern Star situation is getting out of hand. Wilson says that the AVTF is working on salvaging the shipment, but Mr. Charles points out that how sensitive their circumstances are, and the men who work on offloading the ship could not be left alive. Fisk is reluctant to agree to this, saying that finding local employees is difficult, but when Mr. Charles offers his help with resolving this problem, the Fisks agree, provided that this cannot be traced back to them or Mr. Charles. Classic Kingpin. Once the party is over at Blake's, Urich meets with Page and they talk about how Urich has to manipulate Blake to get intel on Fisk's operations. They then bring up Ben Urich and how close he and Page were, and Page admits that she still feels guilt that Fisk killed him because of her. Page does not want Urich to follow in her uncle's footsteps and asks her to take care of herself. Glenn examines the results of Duquesne's evaluation before she receives a call from Hochberg, who is preparing his case against Duquesne and other vigilantes. Hochberg is not quite satisfied with Glenn's reports and asks if she could make Duquesne look like a sociopath so his office could build a stronger case against him. Glenn experiences another traumatic flashback of Muse's attack on her before she snaps out of it and agrees to amend Duquesne's answers to paint him in a worse light. Back at Josie's, Murdoch trains with Paige and tells her about what he learned from Ariana and her work to get people out of the city, which could be useful with the vigilante trials coming up. Paige asks Murdoch if he misses his past life and their work at Nelson, Murdoch, and Page back when Foggy was still alive. Murdoch says that he is focused on moving forward, while Page admits that she misses it every day. Meanwhile, Ariana is approached by a man who reveals himself to be Saver and tells Ariana that he was on the Northern Star and that he needs her help. While working on McDuffie's cases at his place, Cherry gets attacked by the AVTF, who torture him about the whereabouts of Kariako and Savir, but he tells them nothing. We then see Daredevil arrives to save Cherry and fights the AVTF, but gets distracted before realizing that Cherry is having a heart attack, which allows the AVTF to bring him down. They brutally beat him and unmask him and learn that Daredevil is really Matt Murdock. As they prepare to kill him, we see someone saves Daredevil by taking out all of the officers by throwing a knife at all of them, and then seconds later we see a knife lands on the floor with the words painted on "You're welcome" written on it, along with a bullseye symbol etched in the centre, landing on the floor directly in front of Matt Murdock. And that's how we end episode 1, the season 2 premiere, the Northern Star, and that wraps up my review. Overall, a fantastic episode, really good, strong opener for season 2. Absolutely enjoyed it. Loved the new costume. So cool. So badass. Straight out of the pages of the comic books. And I loved seeing Matt and Karen working together to try and pull all of the information to build up against the Kingpin in the hopes of taking him down. Just fantastic stuff. And going by the ending, it looks like that Bullseye is not only coming back, but it looks like he's going to be a reluctant ally for Daredevil. How that's going to work, I don't know, especially after all of the horrible things Point Dexter has done to Matt in the past. So why would he help Daredevil now all of a sudden? We'll have to wait and see, really, but it definitely has got season 2 looking very epic, and lots of questions are going to be addressed throughout season 2, and I can't wait. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What did you guys think of the season 2 premiere, episode 1? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts on Daredevil's new costume? Did you like it? Who do you think that was who saved Daredevil? Was it Bullseye? And if it was him, what's his reasons? What's his motivation? And also, what's your thoughts on Karen Page and Matt Murdock working together as allies? And at what point do you think, when did they become more than friends? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 review series, where I am going to be talking about Episode 2, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing, especially with the way this entire episode played out and the way this episode ended. It's going to be epic, and I can't wait. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.